Guiding Dungeon, guys. We're doing some more 7.62x3.9 stuff. Oh, and I bet you can't guess why. If you saw last week's video, you'd know I'm doing an accuracy test from this very spot with this very rifle and some of this same ammunition. So conveniently, I just changed the target out, and now we're going to be doing a gel test with that AAC Sabre Black. It is a SST bullet, 123 grainer. We're going to be using an actual Hornady SST factory ammunition, 123 grainer. We're going to be using a 123 grain Federal soft point. Not even sure if this one's even made anymore, so we'll do this one last because save this one for the dirtied up block, since you probably can't even get it anyways. But we have a ringer, a 123 grain Gold Dot hand load with a hefty charge of CFE BLK. And I threw that in here, maybe a little biasness because I want to see it. So first things first, let's just go ahead and start off with the one that everybody can get. Let's start off with that Sabre Black stuff, the black tip I think it's AAC, but the Sabre Black tip, and pretty sure it's a SST. So we'll see how they compare, but let's go ahead and send one up there, fellas. No sense in waiting. Impact. Let's go check it out. Dang, fellas, I'm not going to be able to argue with that. That is pretty decent results there for 7.62x3.9 at 100 yards. And we got all the way back here, about 2/3 through our second block here. There's our bullet. Can't see it real well. I'll dig these out at the end and take a better look. Maybe you can see it better from here. There you go. Pretty good expansion. Pretty good from what I can tell right there. There you go. There's your good view. How does that black? Sabre Black. All right. Let's try another one. Well, I can't argue with that. Let's try that Gold Dot, since it's probably going to be between the SST of some flavor, probably a hand load, and this Gold Dot bullet. Let's just try this Gold Dot. I know I'm being selfish. Impact. Block's rolling down the hill. Cool. Our block is extremely dirty, but I did not expect this. This top track is from our Gold Dot, and there sits our bullet. That is great expansion, great wound track, but we stopped at 15 inches. I did not expect the SST to go deeper than a bonded Gold Dot. Yeah, it's tough to, this thing's getting in bad shape. But that's the nature of shooting 100-yard gel tests on a hill, boys. That's all there is to it. We'll pick the rest of this grass off and we'll try her again. All right. That was pretty wild. Didn't expect that. But it is what it is. That's why we test these things. All right, let's try that Hornady brand SST. It's so cool. I like shooting that stuff at 100 yards. You pull the trigger and then you hear the pretty cool. Let's go check it out. All right, fellas, here's what we got. A little different than that first bullet. So this one came in right underneath that Gold Dot bullet. This lower track is our Hornady SST. Good wound track. You can see some jacket right here. Some lead right there. Yeah, not a whole lot here in the wound track. Maybe a little, there's a little bit of jacketing right there. Get to here into this second block and look at that jacket. Like all that's left right here, is just the base. This is basically all the petals peeled off right there. You can see it, yeah. And then there's a big chunk of the core right there. So most of our petals, big chunk of core, the base and core right here, that thing came apart. I wish this second block wasn't so shitty. But we're gonna dig it all out anyways. That one's gonna take a minute, surgical procedure to get that out. All right, let's try that final one, that Federal. All right, fellas, so far, so good. Now, the final one that not even sure you can get any more, and I ain't got but about 4 of them left. But, let's see how she does. Love that. Let's go check it out. So this is how I walked up on them. How cool is that? Just sticking out of the bottom there. All right, so since I turned you on a little early, yeah, that's how it was. You gotta go through this with me. And this one had that crap on top of it. There we go. All right, we're lined up now. That's what you get when you get to see the walk up on moment. So, very, very bottom wound track. Not as violent as the SST or even the Gold Dot, which makes sense. Well, it's probably really on par with that real dark black one there. That's the first SST load that didn't even really start expanding until it was about 6-7 inches into the block and then opened up. It's kind of on par with that wound track, but just further back here. So you can kind of see those two bottom tracks that you see there. This line being the first shot, then the dark spot there, the wound track, and that. And this one went way back here, about a little over halfway through that block, as you saw. Let's just take a look at it. That's pretty good. That is pretty daggone good expansion. Uniform bullet. Let me get there where you can see the dang thing. There we go. There we go. But we'll take another look at it in a second. This camera's being retarded. All right, so let's go dig these out, take a look at all these bullets, see how they performed. All right, real quickly, before I dig these out, I wanted to put the tape measure up here. We see we got right at 15¼ inches penetration from that Gold Dot. This one's upside down, but look at that core there. You can see that it's empty, or that cup, I mean. The leading edge to that is right at 19½ for that SST. This is the hole that our Federal came out of, so you're looking around 26 inches there. And then our furthest one, this first Sabre Black, went right at 27 inches. So I wanted to throw that up there and let y'all take a look at that, see the penetrations. Now we'll dig them out. All right. Ain't that a pretty rooster? Ain't that the prettiest rooster you ever seen? He's feeling himself a little bit. Anyways, all right. Here we go. This is the order they were shot in. That is the black tip, the Sabre. This is the Gold Dot. Whoop. This is what's left of the SST from the Hornady load. That sucker pretty well detonated. That took a minute to dig out. Thought that was cool looking. A little cup core separation there. Not a lot of the lead left, honestly. That's the best I could do to dig it out. So little flat part, and then that core. Not sure where the rest went. And there's our Federal soft point. That one did pretty daggone good. That was held together, penetrated deep, decent wound track. This one exploded. That one, very, very huge expansion. Look at that thing. I'm not gonna look at it much longer. And this one did pretty good. So, are these two the same bullets? I still say yes. I just think this one was probably going slower than this one. And to be honest with you, when I done the accuracy video the first time, I did some chronograph work beforehand, and these were running fairly slow from that Sabre. They were not reaching advertised velocity. Don't remember if I put these over the chrono or not, but I may do that and update in the comments and see what the velocities look like here, see if that's the difference. But yeah. So, little recap before we go in. What do I think? I think the performance was, kind of depends on what you want. It seemed like that Federal was probably the best of both worlds. Penetration, a good wound track, not overly explosive, decent expansion. The Gold Dot expanded like really, really wide and didn't penetrate super deep. One of the SSTs went pretty deep, but you know, that wound track, that first one was a little fishy. Kind of a straight line for a while and then opened up. So a little fishy on that one. I think the Hornady brand Gold or SST probably performed more as I would have expected. Maybe not at 7.62 by 3.9 velocities, but sure enough, that's what it did. So I don't know, you got to pick your poison. What do you want? I personally probably will go with the Gold Dots if I'm going to be deer hunting within 100 yards. So that's just where I'm at. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Until next time, guys, stay tuned.